Okay, today I'm going to show you how I tape and skim a plasterboard joint. I'm using these two products here, the Gyproc EasiFill 60 and the Gyproc FibaTape Xtreme. Before I start this, I'll just go into these two products a little bit more. The Gyproc FibaTape Xtreme is 90 meters by 48 millimeters. It's a self-adhesive fiberglass tape with increased glue. The reason for the increased glue, because it can be used on like extreme weather conditions, like probably site works, always like that. So down to 5 degrees and up to 35 degrees. It also comes in extra wide. This is 75 meters by 100 millimeters. So you can see the difference of the two there. And also I'll be using Gyproc EasiFill 60. As the EasiFill 60 explains, you've got a 60-minute working time. Normally 60, it depends on obviously the conditions you're working in. So that's what the 60 means on that anyway. It's for general repairs and obviously it's for plasterboard joints. So that's that explained. Let's get started. Okay, before I start this process, I'll just show you what I need to do this. Obviously I need the EasiFill 60 as mentioned, the fibre tape, also need some filling knives, a mixing knife, some water, and obviously a mixing bowl. I use these flexi tubs, they're pretty standard, but obviously if you're mixing big batches you'll need something bigger. So yeah, I've got finally getting some of the EasiFill 60 into the tub there, and what I do is, some people like put water in first, some people put the EasiFill in first. I like to put the filler in first, then just slowly add water to it. Get it to a nice consistency. You see it's starting to thicken up there. You can see the side there, I don't know, you can see. Nice, add a bit more water in the bottom because it's a bit dry. Yeah, you want it like a quite pasty finish. Obviously it depends how much you're mixing to get the right consistency. And obviously you want it quite smooth with no lumps. And I think I've got there. Just get the dry bits off the bottom. It's more or less there, as you can see there. I'm getting the consistency I want where it doesn't fall off the knife. Yeah, so there's me skim mixed there. Nice consistency there. So that is mixed there. So the next step is get the tape on the plasterboard. A lot of people obviously you put it on like that first. What I like to do is, this is me personally, I like to put just a little bit of fill in the joint first, just to fill the gap slightly. I know everybody doesn't do this because obviously the tape bridges it, but just something I like to do. So yeah, see, you don't have to do that, but it's something I like to do. And then obviously, you see your tape's extra sticky, I can feel it there. So basically I want to put it down, right down the middle of the joint, like so. And I say the adhesion is really good on this. Take it right down to the bottom. And I'll just add a pair of scissors or just cut it with a Stanley knife. So that's on there. So that's ready to put the first coat of skim on now. So we'll get some more on my knife. And like I say, when you're skimming, there's no need to put it on really, really thick. I just like the first one, just a nice thin layer, just to slightly cover the tape as you go in there. Ever so slightly, like that, just to cover and getting the little grooves of the tape. So just slightly covering the surface there. So you see, put a little bit thick if you want, I suppose, just so you're slightly covering the tape like that. What I normally recommend is between 2 and 3. Normally 3 is a good thing, because obviously the second coat, once this is dry, I'll skim the second coat, and obviously I'll bring that a little bit further to there. Then I'll probably on the second coat, I'll give it a light sand, and then I'll give it a final third skim, which will probably go a little bit further out, just so there's no like lump in the wall, because obviously you want it to just look as well once it's painted or wallpapered or whatever you're putting on top of it. You want the board to look flawless basically. So yeah, I will let that dry. Hopefully it's pretty warm today, so it shouldn't take that long, but I will let that go off a bit. There we have it. Right, off a bit, and I'll see you at the next stage. Okay, so the first skim has been allowed to dry, and I've just started putting the second skim on now. I haven't felt the need to sand this coat, the first coat yet, because it was quite a thin coat, and like I say, but you can see what I'm doing here. I'm starting to skim out. I'm going a little bit further out this time to make it nice and flat. So yeah. So there. Just going a little bit further out this time. I'm putting on a little bit thicker than I did last time, just so I don't want to see the tape visible anymore with this coat. Like I say, I'm going a little bit further out, you can see there. So you can see there, obviously that was the first skim, this is the second skim. I've gone a bit further out, the tape is totally covered now, so I will allow that. I'll finish this off and I'll allow this to dry. And I suppose if you wanted to, you don't have to sand the next coat. You could probably just skim that a little bit further out. But I'll see what the finish is like when the second skim dries. I might give it a little sand, but really, I see I put on pretty smooth there. So maybe it's just a case after the second coat here, I'll just like skim a little bit further out, like that. And that should be okay. So we'll let that dry and we'll get back to you in a bit. Okay, the time has finally arrived for the third and final skim across this joint. You can see there where the tape was down the middle. That was my first fill, just a slight fill that just covers the tape. The second fill, I go a little bit further out there, and this is feeling pretty smooth. So let's get this third skim on. And what I'll do here, I'll show you. I go just a little bit further out. Again, I'm using the Gyproc EasiFill 60. And when I'm gliding that, I can feel the knife going across that. There's no ridge. It's totally flat and smooth, which I want, and which any customer would want as well. Just they don't want to see where the joint on your boards has been. So you can see there, going a little bit further out on this occasion, and that is feeling well. Yeah, that is lovely and flat. So what I'll do now is I'll finish this off, then I'll allow it to dry, and the next stage obviously will be sanding it down so it's nice and flat, then either painting it or wallpapering or whatever you decide to do with your wall. So yeah, obviously the system is obviously tape on first, a fiber fill, then obviously first skim, second skim, and obviously third, final skim, and it's going to be really flat, and that's how I want it. So yeah, I'll continue with this and I'll see you at the next stage. Okay, the time's finally arrived. The joint on the board is I now had 3 skims of the Gyproc EasiFill 60 over the FibaTape Xtreme. So yeah, it's time for sanding, so let's get it done. because you can't feel any bevel on the wall. It's totally flat. When you sand, just make sure you do not just the middle, make sure you sand all your edges as well, because you want if you're painting the wall to look as smooth as possible going across there now. Yeah, so a little bit of sanding on the bottom there to finish off, but more than happy with that. So yeah, basically it's now ready to put a primer on it and 2 coats of paint, or prime it then wallpaper it. Entirely up to you. So yeah, that's the EasiFill 60 and the FibaTape Xtreme. That's filled that joint on that board. Yes, I'm just putting the primer on now. I see that roll is really smooth. See, when that's had a quart of primer, then probably 2 coats of paint, that is going to look perfect. Yeah, so I'll crack on with this and I'll see you in a bit. So there we have it, it's all done. So that's how you tape and joint the plasterboard. As you can see there, the wall's being painted now and it is totally seamless, flat, didn't touch the hand, so that job's done. I'll just run through the process before I go. Obviously the FibaTape Xtreme goes on first down the joint, and then you'd give it a skim over with Gyproc EasiFill 60, just more or less the same width as the tape, or just a smidges past. Let it dry, second skim, a bit further out again, let that dry, third skim, again further out again, so it makes it nice and smooth so you can't tell where the joint or the plasterboard has been. So yeah, that's that there. So just while it's on my mind as well, you can get FibaTape Xtreme wide as well. You can see the difference there. I mentioned it earlier, but just so you know, that is available as well if you need it. And if you're wondering as well why it's orange, it's got a bit of visibility on sites and things like that. Because obviously if you put one of the whiter tapes on a white surface, you can't really see where you're going. But with it being orange, you can see where you're going. So yeah, that's it. That wall's finished. I hope you've enjoyed the tutorial on how to basically tape and join the plasterboard. I'll catch you later.